It's a cold return to the Lake District. It's been a fair few weeks since I was last here, and I made my way to the top of Go Fell just after sunset. I scanned around for any sort of images, compositions, but to be honest, I missed the narrow opportunity of light. It lasted about 10 seconds. Never mind. You can see from the clips we've got some lovely snow-capped fell tops there. Now, I've been conscious of audio and the quality because thankfully from a few comments I had from my last video you made me aware of a fault, so hopefully now you are hearing me nice and clear, because there's nothing worse than record a video really without good, decent, I suppose that would have worked better if there wasn't any background noise. Anyway, yeah, Go Fell. I've just wandered across Go Park, and you see him behind me is Ullswater, and also you see behind me a nice specimen of a tree. So I've gone out the 24 to 105, framed up and shot a few images. Now, quite a lot to take into account here. When I first arrived at the scene, it was clagged over. To be honest, there was a bit of a storm, not a storm, but some low cloud cover, bit of a quick flurry of snow. That soon went, but I took a shot then, and that nicely shrouded the background. You could just see the outlines of the fell tops behind me. But that soon cleared up. I took another shot. Now it really is clear, but you can see the cloud detail. Now, a lot of photographers want cloud detail in their images, but for me, if you introduce cloud detail, then you're fighting for attention. So the main subject in this shot is obviously the tree and the lovely shapes, the form, the structure. If I start to include detail in the sky, then it's sort of fighting with each other. Well, that's my opinion. So I think the shrouded background works better, but I'll leave that to you. Now, I wanted to ensure that Ullswater was framed, so nothing open, either framed, nicely enclosed, and also carefully position the branches as best as I could, so the background is of the water, so create some nice contrast, because if I didn't do that, then the structure of the tree would have been somewhat lost. So, first shot of the day, I'm quite pleased with it. F11 focused on the tree. So from Go I headed back to the car and made the short trip up to my next destination, which is Great Mell Fell. Still part of the Eastern Fells here in the Lake District. Now, as I said before, it's been quite a while since I've been to the Lake District. Well, based on the fact that I usually go every 2 weeks, it's almost been a month. The main reason for that is due to the inclement weather. We've been battered with wind and rain, and it so happens to fall on a weekend, not midweek. Fine during midweek, but on the weekend. So I'm here anyway, and we are blessed with a light dusting of snow. So I'm gonna get to work. Now, if you've been to Great Mell Fell, it's quite a wonderful landscape full of weird and wonderful trees, mainly pines, which have just been eroded and windswept, because it's quite an open fell. It stands on its own. You can see it from the A66 heading west across the Lake District. It is quite a daunting place as well. It looks photogenic, but it's quite difficult getting that separation, the isolation in the trees. It does help, however, if you've got a blanket of low cloud or low visibility, which in this case I have. So it may be minimalistic images from here on the fell. I've already reached the top and the summit. I'm heading back down, and as I say, I'm going to get to work, try and get some shots in the bag. So it's typical, isn't it? As soon as I mention there's a nice blanket of cloud just shrouding the background, making the images a lot simpler and easier to work with, it clears up. That might be a good thing though, because looking towards the Dodds, Great Dodds, with a bit of light. So I'm going to quickly talk you through this composition, then I'm going to get the long lens out and shoot towards that. You can see there behind me anyway, we've got a lone tree, but the benefit of a bit of clarity now is it reveals the background, which is heading towards Blencathra. Foreground interest, we've got this old broken branches, and I'm using that as multiple leading lines. Yes, it's at a diagonal, which is interesting anyway, and I've positioned the tree on the upper right hand side of the frame. You can just see the mountain cloaked in snow in the background as well. On the left hand side, just to balance the frame out, focus on the branch itself. Got some nice colours going on as well, with the yellows of the grasses across the white of the snow. Right, I do believe it's telephoto time. Got some nice hill fog as well, so I'll show you this image and then get to work on that over there. So we have got some lovely light going on, looking towards the far eastern fells. So the long lens telephoto had to come out, handheld. Basically what I'm looking at, there's some lovely hill fog separating the fells, and the light is bouncing off not only the tops of the fells but also the tops of the clouds as well, and this will make a nice panoramic image looking horizontal. So yeah, and also some nice light going on over the Dodds, Great Dodd and Watson Dodd as well, and I'm looking at Blencathra, again a nice veil of hill fog. So yeah, I'm still on Great Mell Fell. I'm at a bit of a diagonal actually. I'm alright though, I'm not falling over. Yeah, Great Mell Fell, there's loads of lovely looking trees going on around me, but it's difficult getting separation. What is easier, an easier option for me at the moment in time, the better option is shooting telephoto. It's been a good return to the Lake District. I have missed it, it's been a fair few weeks, but yeah, very enjoyable. Good morning on what is a lovely crisp winter's morning here in the Lake District. The sun is out, there is a slight wind chill factor, so it's quite nippy, but beautiful, beautiful light. Some nice light looking over towards the fells. I've already taken a shot with a long lens. I'm toying with the idea whether to put my spikes on, but we'll see. It's quite soft on the foot. I'm at the bottom of a small fell called Little Mel Fell. It's very near Great Mel Fell, the last fell where I was last time you saw me. Quite a steep ascent, so I'm going to make my way to the top of there and see what we can find. But it's a lovely, crisp, wintry morning, but it's a bit gusty. Can't complain. That was difficult to say the least. Once I started to get to the top of the summit, the wind's quite ferocious, and the wind chill factor making it quite hard to not only photograph but definitely video it as well. So there's no piece of camera from there. I decided to put on the old spikes. I don't know what we're thinking. How on earth could make that without spikes? I don't know. It was very icy. Shots wise, well, once I got there, I basically play around with any patterns. There was one pattern that I found with a 24-105, but mainly options available were again using the long lens, looking towards what the Dodds, Great Dod and Blencathra as well. But yeah, snowy, icy conditions. If you can get the right pattern, you know, nice weaving line, always a strong feature. I found one, as I say, leading on to the fells beyond. We'll see how that turns out. Right, the forecast is the wind is meant to die down slightly, so I'm hoping so. I'm going to get back to my car and head to my next destination. No long hike today, a couple of small fells again. Just taking advantage of these snow-capped mountains. Short drive down towards Ullswater, then on to Glenridding, and I've parked at Patterdale, and from here I'm heading up to another fairly small fell, and that is Harnison Crags. Now the wind has thankfully died down. Still cold, but not as bitingly chilly as last time. One thing I've noticed is some lovely contrast between the tops of the fells. We've got nice white snow, and then you've got the foliage just below that, nice browns. No direct light. Actually, there's patches every now and then. So I'm going to head up here and see what I can pick off. I'm just stood here. I haven't taken my camera out of the bag yet. I'm just scanning the landscape, just enjoying the light, and we have got a lot of light. And what we've got to play with, we've got the snow-capped mountains, of course, got the contrast in the grass where there's no snow, and I've also got lots of trees as well, and every now and then the light catches the trees. It looks really nice from here, but you know, composing a photograph is another question. This style of photography is snap and grab. There's not a great fine-tuning involved. Telephoto is on, and I said before, what we've got to work with is the trees. Got the old bark, not quite skeletal, and it's creating some nice contrast. What I'm doing at the moment in time is including the summit tops as well, but I'm just a bit conscious there's quite a space between the tree and the summit tops. So I'm still going to snap away. They might or might not work. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. The sun is behind me, so there you go, beaming on me. So I want to avoid that if I can. But if I do, looking towards Hartsop Dord, that area, around there, I'll have to just bring down the exposure and reduce as much sky as possible. I'm just speaking out loud, it might not even work. It's just time on the top of a small fell, enjoying the views. I'll get some shots, I get some shots. So be it.